we have no choice because our only choice is to be brave. You probably see my breath coming out. It's very cold. We have fire going and I got candles to light myself. I'm an ambassador for the Foundation for United Nations SDG, and I'm the only foreign representative from the foundation to remain in the country. Really, these people have nothing, and the winter is going to be very cold, very dark, and very difficult.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Ukrainian guide, Elena. Many of you guys were asking me before how we can help the most neediest people who stay in Ukraine. And in this video, I will give you the answer. I have a great honor and huge pleasure, really, to introduce you a very special person. This is Christina Katrakis. Christina, hello.
Hi, how are you, Elena? It's a pleasure talking to you finally. And I know we've been trying to reconnect. Now the war started before war, but good to see you, and I'm glad you're in a safe place with your family and all is going well. So
first of all, congratulations, you are on the cover of the Times magazine. The Spirit of Ukraine is awarded as the Person of the Year, but you are literally on the cover, because what we have on the cover is this monument from the Independence Square, like the symbol of Ukraine. And basically, Christina, when she was a child, she was posing for her father, who made this monument.
I was a teenager. I was living in US, and my dad asked me to take some shots holding a branch. I had no idea what he's going to do, because he's a quite renowned sculptor. And so I sent him the photos, and then later on, he surprised me with this pic for the model for the Statue of the Independence in Kyiv. So that was really a surprise, but a big honor. And all my life, I've been trying to live up to it and trying to be worthy of it and worthy of embodying a Ukrainian spirit. And I guess partly that's why I'm here and doing what I'm doing.
So you are the US citizen. You are the well-known all over the world artist. Your paintings are in the private collections of American presidents like Obama, Bill Clinton, their national museums. You are the professor of arts. You've been living like a good life in Greece, and you could stay here in the United States. But for some reason, you are right now there in Ukraine. Where are you right now? Can you tell us?
Well, we're eastwards with our mission, so I cannot really tell the exact location, but towards Kharkiv region. We've been helping recently a lot newly liberated areas, including Kharkiv newly liberating areas such as Kupiansk, and also Kherson and Mykolaiv region, Snihurivka, places that were under occupation for over 8 months, and people have nothing basically, and it's devastating. And like our recent mission was to give aid and food boxes to people of Kherson, but also to provide for winter stations, safe places where people could go and heat up and get warm clothing, get food. If they have small babies, like for example, we provided a whole space for mother and child where they could like have diapers, have baby food, have clothing, have everything they need, medicine too, because really these people have nothing, and the winter is going to be very cold, very dark, and very difficult to survive. So right now, you probably see my breath coming out. It's very cold. We have fire going, and I got candles to light myself. I hope the video is okay. But yeah, so it was a conscientious choice. In a way, I say that we have no choice because our only choice is to be brave. So people say, "Oh my God, Ukrainians are so brave." It's like, well, we cannot do otherwise. That's the choice we make. But I'm an American. Originally grew up in Chicago and then lived in Memphis, Tennessee for quite a long while. I'm an ambassador for the Foundation for United Nations SDG, and I'm the only foreign representative from the foundation to remain in the country when the full invasion started in February. And that was a conscientious decision. We were warned, we were told to leave, month prior to this, day prior to this, an hour prior to this. But my husband is Ukrainian. He's originally from Odessa, and he's very patriotic too. And he didn't want to change anything. citizenship or anything, and said, no, I'm staying and I'm helping Ukraine. And I said the same. I said, Roman, we're not going anywhere. And so we stayed. And on the third day, we have opened the base for IDPs, internally displaced people in Ukraine. In the place called Vorokhta in Carpathian Mountains. Was the safest place for people to be at the time, still is. There's no bombing in Vorokhta, and a lot of people that we get from Mariupol or Zaporizhia region, they're like, oh my God, there's no bombing, there are no sirens. Of course, now the problem is light, but it's everywhere in Ukraine, not only there. And since the third day of war, we began to help and to provide for all the IDPs there. First, there were like 2,000 people, and a week later, there were 5,000. And it kind of remains on that number, goes up and down. Now we have more IDPs from Zaporizhia, from Kherson, that came to us with basically nothing, and we have to provide for them. And so that is, our reach out to people to remind them that Christmas, it's nice to have Christmas trees and presents, but the biggest present is the one that keeps on giving back, is when you save lives, is when you help innocent children who have nothing. This year they will not have a Christmas tree, and we just hope to give them food and warm clothing and something to heat their houses with, get generators. So for us, Christmas present is a generator. What I'm trying to remind to Americans, being an American myself, is that this war is not a Ukrainian war. This war is between the light and the dark, okay? And it's between the West and the dictatorship, okay? So right now, Ukrainians, they are the Spartans who are guarding the world from this treacherous dictatorship. So basically, they're sacrificing their lives to be the wall between the terror of Russia and the rest of the Western world. So this war is between the West, the democracy, and the tyranny. And if you announce Putin a terrorist and do nothing to stop the terror, that's the height of hypocrisy. If you say, okay, he's a terrorist, you go and do something about it. That's what America has been doing, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Serbia, right? So what are we waiting for? Are we going to repeat the scenario that we saw, for example, during the World War II when Hitler invaded Poland and nobody was doing anything and everybody was watching how Hitler was killing Jews, right? And kind of, oh, another genocide, that's fine, So what I'm saying is wait, understand, this is not somebody else's war. This is the war that is happening right now between you and the tyrant. Okay, and it does touch upon the United States. So don't wait for Pearl Harbor to happen. Okay, don't wait for thousands of people to be killed in genocide. What's happening right now in Ukraine, because it will come to your house. If it fails, I hope it will not, and I'm still here, and I believe that it will not. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. Then the rest of the world will fail. So what I'm saying is act, help. Not only with words, with just weapons, but many, many other things. And understand that kids right now here have nothing. They're happy to have food. They're happy to have a chocolate. They're happy to have light. I'm here with my 7-year-old son, who's an American too. And it was supposed to be his first grade in school. He doesn't even have normal school, because every time he tries to go to school, we end up in the bomb shelter. So the classes continue in the bomb shelter. Online doesn't work because there's no internet and light, So, now because our base was granted a Starlink, we can connect to you and talk to you without, much light or anything, but using the Starlink connection. So, and using power stations. That's what. So what I'm saying is Christmas is about giving hope. It's about giving love, okay? It's about birth of new life, birth of new hope that would save the world. So be that hope that saves the world and help us to continue on helping, because literally we are stretched really thin. While we are part of the UN organization, we receive no aid from the UN, but we can give aid to UN. That's the irony of our contract with UN. Whatever we are able to gather, it's on our own resources, right? It's me reaching out, helping, negotiating, trying to ask for aid. We provide to kids and families in our base that are from Mariupol. We have babies from 3 months old, until like 14. We have kids with special disabilities and psychological disabilities from Kharkiv, from Mykolaiv, from Mariupol, from Berdyansk, from Zaporizhia. We have pregnant women from Zaporizhia region and from Mariupol. Some of them gave birth on the way to our base. We have a baby called Mary of Mariupol. She was born on the way to our base from Mariupol. That was the last evacuation from the city, and that baby symbolizes our hope, on our base, and her mother. We provide for all of them on monthly, on daily basis with everything they need. So from food to clothing to hygiene, whatever we can help them with, medicine. In addition, we provide to the frontline cities, to all the civilians there, and now also providing for animals, because we just couldn't close our eyes on dying dogs and cats in newly liberated areas, because people fled and they just left their dogs chained in the courtyards, hoping that they will come back tomorrow, and they didn't. And dogs have nothing to eat, In addition, they're traumatized by the constant shelling. So we're stretched out thin, and our team is 25 people, and other than me and my husband, who's a crisis coordinator for the Foundation for United Nations, all the other people are IDPs. They're also, refugees, internal refugees from Mykolaiv, from Donetsk, from Kherson, so, from Kharkiv. So all these people have been working for free now for 10 months. They don't have anything. They just give every day, whatever we can to help Ukraine. Being stretched so thin, I'm asking world to react. We're open to partnerships. We're open to help. And we're open to make the difference, whatever it takes. We have great resources. We've built a great base where people can live for free, eat for free, get education for free, medical resources. We have a huge storage. We have trucks. We have cars. We have drivers that drive where others don't dare to drive to. We have volunteers at all the frontline areas going to ground zero, so to say. So we can offer all that to a partner, to a company, to a foundation that would want to support the cause. In addition, I know that it would just take one person to make a difference, and that's the irony of it, that it would take just one person, one company to make a difference and help all these thousands of people. I remain here as well as my family because I cannot bear to look in the eyes of these kids in Kherson or Mykolaiv and say, okay, this is the last truck, you're not getting anything anymore, because we don't have it. So every day, my day starts and ends with phone calls of, trying to get food. And I take it as a personal failure if I cannot. So I guess that's my soliloquy about the situation here on the ground.
Christina, if I'm a foreigner, I'm not a rich businessman, not like any big company, but I want to help. Yes, please give me a simple instruction how I can help.
You just have to go on our site, which is FFUN SDG-Help .org. And on that site, you will see the get involved, donate button, right? So you just press on that button and goes to our PayPal, which is on the name of the ambassador, which is me, of the Foundation for United Nations SDG, because I'm personally accountable for donations and for making sure that they go to the right place for the right cause. That is most vital at the moment. So we are accountable in front of UN. We're accountable in front of people that we help. So there's no way that something's going to get lost or not go into help. And you can just donate whatever you're able to donate. You can donate $20, you can donate, $100, whatever. Every little bit matters, and every little bit makes a huge difference. And imagine if every person would donate $10 in the United States, then we could help thousands and thousands for months to come. So I'm open to any kind of help and any kind of stretched arm, and I am the voice for these kids and for these people right now, because I see their stories. I talk to our volunteers at the front lines. I hear horrible confessions of what was done to them. I can give you an example, for example, from a story in Zoom. A father was tortured. All the fingers on his hands were broken. He was released home. The same day, Russian soldiers came to their home. They shot his knees in front of his family. He had two small children, a boy and a girl, and wife and a grandmother living with them. It's a village house in Izum. And then they shot him in the chest after they shot his knees and tortured him some more. And then a grandmother ran out to protect him, to stop them, and they shot her and just shot her right on top of him, laid her right on top of him. And then in front of the two small kids, they raped his wife to death. The youngest, I think, the girl is about 8 years old. And the kids ran away and fled and hid in the basement for a month. They were afraid to come out. They hid for a month until the neighbors found them there. They ate whatever was in the basement, like raw vegetables and preserves, whatever they could find, like little animals, And finally, the volunteers were able to bring them out to Poltava region, where they're located now, and they're provided for. But these are the cases we deal with. These are the real cases we face, real stories, right? And these kids need therapy. In our base, we provide therapy. We provide art therapy. We make little dolls, modanki, which is another dream of ours, to make a trademark that people could buy a little doll and made by a refugee child and donate to the cause. Psychologists work with them, but you understand these wounds will not heal in one day, and this is happening. This is just one story, and I have thousands of stories like that. We were saving people from Makariv. They were trying to flee Borodyanka, and we were saving them from there to get to Vorokhta. And basically the tanks and the military vehicles were crushing their cars, and there were 2-3-year-old children inside of the car as they were kind of crushing, going right on top of the cars. Men were shot right in the faces. One guy, we had to put the skull together. It was totally crushed. Knees, hips, a lady was totally damaged, and those were Buryats, and they took out the lady from the car because her granddaughter was sitting in the car, and when they start shooting the cars were driving with white flags and writing children trying to flee, and they were shooting at the white flag cars of civilians with children inside. And as they took that lady out and they saw what was done, the Buryat said, "Oh, she will not survive till the morning." And she said, being a Ukrainian woman, said, who are you to tell me if I'm going to survive or not? And she survived. That's the Ukrainian spirit. That's the real Ukrainian spirit. And we helped them to move them first to Vorokhta and then to Germany. And now they are recovering in Germany, and the lady can walk now because her feet were totally crushed. Her hands were crushed. imagine the granddaughter that was inside of the car. She said, I saw pieces of my grandma's leg like splatter all over the car. And I realized that she's going to die, you know. And she tells this story and cries. We record all these things because justice must take place after the war ends, you know. And so we record just like you record. We record these stories. And sometimes it's very painful to listen and to hear, but it must be done. I mean, they have to be accountable for all the horrors that they've done. So this is just a bit of a reality check that we live in and live with to understand for Americans what real war right now is and how it feels. And I really don't want it to come to US. Really don't want it to move further in Europe. But if this terror will not be stopped, you know, just as I said, just as Pearl Harbor happened, just as Hitler invaded Paris happened, you know, and so on. So I think right now it's time not to divide, but unite, you know, because it's not about politics and it's not about Republicans and Democrats. It's about the world, you know, and saying that you don't want World War III to happen doesn't mean that it's not already happening. What I'm saying, it's already there, okay? And if they're going to nuke, the first country they're going to nuke will be US. You know, after Ukraine. So what I'm saying that, you know, people are asking me, oh, are you preparing yourself for the nuclear danger? I'm like, well, what's the point? You know, okay, I'll hide in the basement if there is a basement, given our schedule that we are on the road all the time and our child is with us. Our 7-year-old child is loading and unloading trucks, humanitarian aid, and he brings aid to the little kids, and, you know, and he lives without light, without anything. And he says, Mom, I know I'm doing the right thing. And English is his first language. And he's like, I know I'm doing the right thing. He's learning Ukrainian now. He said, I'm helping kids. If we're not going to help them, who's going to help them? You know, and so that really makes me get up in the morning and continue on doing what I'm doing. Is the face of my child and his words and his devotion to help other children that he sees and meets and plays with, and, you know, all these are refugee kids, because I think in the end he will become a better person for that. He will become a really better person because he at the age of 7 understood something that would take lots of people years and years to understand and come to.
Christina, what helps you not to give up? To know.
Well, I said my child. He sings me songs. It's like Червона Калина, Stefania. It makes me happy. It sings me song. You are my sunshine, that kind of stuff, and that kind of keeps me going. My family, and the fact that, you know, my husband and my son are so devoted to this mission. And also our team, because our team is incredible. You know, they're believers. I mean, imagine for 10 months without a penny, because we're fully nonprofit and volunteers all. And so to get up and to go into cold storage now without light, without heat, without anything, and to continue unpacking boxes for the front line, to continue on delivering aid to IDPs at the base, and not giving it up and saying, okay, we're going to do it till the end because that's the way things must happen. We must do something. And their spirit and their devotion. And you see, these people, they're without their home. They're in Vorokhta, also IDPs there. So they left their homes because they're in Donetsk region, in Luhansk region, in the Kyiv region. And they came and they're living without their home. They're living without their things. And it's horrible. I mean, we've been living on the road now for almost 8 months. And I know how it is, you know, to live one time in one place, another time in another place, using same bags, washing the same clothing, and, you know, not feeling that you have home. It's a horrible, horrible thing. But no matter what, these people continue on helping, even though they themselves have none. So that spirit inspires me and keeps me going. I simply cannot stop helping and doing what I'm doing because of them, because of all these people that I see and work with, and all the people that really rely on us. Because, as I said, if we're not going to deliver that truck, people may not make it.
How long do you think you will keep doing this? What's your vision? What's in the future? When and how it will end?
I have no idea. As long as we will have aid coming in, we will continue on doing it. Right now, the aid is becoming less and less. For some reason, the world thinks that the war is over, but for us, the war is just beginning. And a lot of times when I have TV stations taking interviews and asking me, like the first question, for example, from the recent Fox News interview was, is Ukrainian spirit down? Because they're like expecting that this will make Ukrainian spirit go down. All the blackouts and no energy, no electricity, no heat. But in fact, it's higher than ever. If Russia thinks that they will kill Ukrainian spirit with this, then they're really wrong. They really know nothing about Ukraine. Well, they know nothing about Ukraine, otherwise they wouldn't invade Ukraine. They should learn history. But no, I mean, now people are really determined to fight and really determined to make a statement because, Ukrainians know what they're fighting for. They're fighting for their children. They're fighting for their homes. They're fighting for their families, for their wives, for their mothers. Russian soldiers don't know why they're fighting for. I mean, they send them and say, okay, they send us. So we didn't invade another country. Russia did. Ukraine is defending Ukraine. So in that way, Ukrainians are more devoted and determined now than ever. For us, as I said, the war is just beginning. And we know that this winter would be crucial, for survival and for standing up against this terror. But what I'm trying to say is, if you announce Russia a terrorist state, act upon it. Unite with Ukraine to defeat terrorism. Otherwise, all this makes no sense and they're just empty words. So we do hope that we will continue getting help. We do hope that we will continue getting food and basics for all the people that we're helping. So as long as we will have at least something, we will continue working because that's what, matters. We think of people right now frozen at the front lines, really having no heat, no light, no basics, and they have small children, and they have nowhere to go, no funds to use for anything, no jobs. We help disabled people who cannot move, and there are many of them that were basically abandoned at the front lines. Elderly people, they're usually like nobody cares, and we come and we see these old ladies, and it's, it really breaks your heart. And sorry. And I hope that Christmas miracle will happen. It should happen, right? So maybe I'm naive, but I believe in good. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I believe that good always overcomes the dark evil. And I believe that we stand for something that is right. We stand for human rights. We stand for love. We stand for democracy. And me having Greek roots, democracy is in our blood. We have to fight for people. And we will continue on doing this for as long as we can. But we need all the help that we can get.
It will. They say that in the darkness, the most shining spirits are very visible. And right now you are in this darkness.
That's the best time to see the stars, right?
You are surrounded by this darkness. You have just, the fireplace. It's cold. You have no electricity, no water, no heating. There is only a candle next to you.
It's romantic.
Decoration, yes, but your eyes are shining with its so strong spirit, and it inspires a lot the other people, to stand with you and help.
I hope so. And, instead of buying a new sweater, that somebody else will go and return, donate to us to help us to continue on helping people here, on the ground. And you will know that it was right to do. It was something that will give back. Definitely. It's a big plus to the karma, so to say.
By the way, about all sweaters or others, like what subscribers are asking me, like I have some warm blankets or some other items that maybe some people cannot donate much money, but they have some things that they wish they could, deliver to the neediest people somewhere in Ukraine. Does it make sense to send it all over, the Atlantic Ocean or from Europe, to send you boxes with the item? And if yes, what are these items that you need and how to deliver it?
Well, I think the best way is through Meast, and we can provide the address closest to our base where you can send it through Meast, and then our drivers will come and pick them up. But yeah, warm clothing, blankets, any technical stuff that could help us, like power stations, chargers for phones that work on solar or something, or can be rechargeable, flashlights, gas cookers, or anything that people can use without electricity. That could be very helpful. Hygiene in high demand, so anything from hygiene. But really, people have to think of the cost efficiency. If to send the box will cost them more than to just donate, at least $100. And for this $100 here on the ground, we can buy basic food or hygiene for people, then maybe it's better, to send funds. So they have to make that decision. But we welcome, all the help.
Christina, please don't be offended, because I trust you 100%. I've been following you on Facebook for so long, and even though we never met before, never talked to each other, I always felt, like we're sisters, like good friends, and that we know each other for so long. I don't know if you have had this feeling.
You're from another mister.
I really have this special connection with you. So I will pass you the message what I hear from the other people, from my subscribers. They say oh, I feel uncomfortable to donating, a big NGO because there is corruption, and I'm not sure if this help gonna end up, where it's needed. So do you have an answer to these people who are skeptical about big funds?
Well, look, for example, in our main page of FFUN SDG, we had a donate button that would, if you go on this main site, it will be donate to UN SDG, which means that all the funds would go to UN office. So we made our own page and our own donate option for the mission here on the ground in Vorokhta. So if you donate on our base website and using the PayPal, all the funds will go to us. They're not going to go to UN office. Okay, so that was the reason why we had to separate these two, because I cannot, if it goes to UN SDG, it will be used for UN SDG purposes around the world. So I'm not sure it's going to end up specifically in Ukraine, but if you donate to us, because we are a branch and we have our own base on the ground right now since the third day of war, it will go directly to us, and it will go directly to the causes that we represent. And moreover, we have video and photo footage from every delivery, right? And we list all the people that donated, so that people could see their things, they could see that nobody stole it or took it away. I mean, we had people donate, for example, Nike donated new shoes from 2022 Olympic shoes, and in boxes, everything absolutely new. And I said, we have to give these shoes to the people who are in sports at the front lines. We're not gonna give it to IDPs in our base. So we found like bicycling team in Mykolaiv and gave the kids, their teenagers, gave them the shoes. The boxing team, the judo team, the sports schools in Donetsk, and region. And kids couldn't believe it. Like they never seen Nike, and they're like, "Are you like you're giving this to us?" Like, and we made all the photos, and the kids are very happy. And even though they still live in war areas, in the front lines, they continue on winning international championships. So their spirit is unbroken and very strong. So in that way, Nike could see that every shoe went to the kids that never seen it probably in their lives and needed the most, and they're in sports. In that way, we're accountable for everything that we get, funds or things, and the donor can be listed, his name, his company, so he could see where his funds are going to, and where his clothing are going to, or food or aid, because I think that's very important. The accountability is very important because, some people, unfortunately, made living on war. It happened historically during all ages and eras. So while some of us, like us, in the cold, traveling, delivering, doing whatever we can, living out of our resources, last resources, because we have none, and it's ending, and working for free all this time for 10 months trying to make the difference. Others are making profit on it. So I think it's very important for every NGO to be totally clear, accountable, and we have acts of delivery and for everything we do. So our conscience is clear. That's why we can sleep whenever we can get a chance to sleep.
I have one more question for you that I received, in the beginning of the war, like 8 months. Yes, I've been in Kyiv myself with my 3 children, and my husband was a volunteer in the army, in the military. And the question that was like, Olena, can't you just take your children and leave Ukraine? Just take your children and leave Ukraine. So some people, I'm sure, will have this question in mind for you. Can't these people that are so vulnerable over there in Ukraine and the war zone, can't they just take and leave to a safe place?
Well, imagine if tomorrow Russia starts nuking United States, right, or attacking United States, and it can happen. What will you do? Like, all the United States will immigrate where? To Japan, to Hawaii, all of them, just take their children and go away. Japan didn't take their children and go away when they nuked Japan. It's your home. What I'm saying, we have nowhere to go to. We have nowhere to run to. It's our home. And no matter how long we can hide in another country, living in another dorm, you still want to come back home, and the kids want their home, So this is people's home. They will not just abandon and leave it. Neither would Americans, nor would British, right? They would remain, and they would fight, and they would live, and they would help. And that's what happened during the World War II. Nobody just took out and fled France or England, or Belgium when Germans marched in, right? They remained there. And the same will happen here. It's impossible to take 50 million and move them somewhere. Where do you want to, Mars, or what was the option? So this is ridiculous. And before saying something, try to at least try. I know it's really hard, but try to put yourself in that situation, your country in that situation, and then maybe you'll understand better. You'll see the picture clearer. But as I said, people will not abandon their home. Ukraine is their home. So even if they are refugees, they will be refugees within their own country, and they rather do that than move completely out of the country, because at least this way they feel that they're still in Ukraine, they still are useful, they can work in our base, they can help the front lines, and they're still connected, you know. Like, I think for a lot of IDPs at our base, it's very important to know that at certain point, they can just take a train and go back home, you know, or take a bus and drive to their house. You know, they don't have to cross oceans or look for connections or be totally disconnected. So it's like that connection to their belly button, you know, it's that cord that is important to them. So yeah, and that's why we have refugees within our own country, and that's why there are lots and lots of them, and they need help and they need food. So we try to keep them in the safest possible place, which is Vorokhta, and provide them whatever we can. But we cannot expect or demand of people to leave their home, to leave their country completely. If they can, if they want, great. You know, I'm not judgmental towards anyone. I'm here being an American with my child that is an American, because I know that if everybody will leave, then who's going to help? You know, who's going to be here, the voice, you know, screaming and saying, hello, wake up, you know, we got to do something, you know, we got to make a difference, you know, and somebody has to be accountable here from the West, you know, for what's going on. So that is my conscientious decision and my family's conscientious decision, you know, and I know that bomb can hit tomorrow and we could all die, but that could happen anywhere in Ukraine right now. You know, you're not safe really anywhere. And, you know, if we let Russia continue on doing what they're doing, I don't think you'll be safe in America or in Europe.
Christina, what your Christmas will be like this year?
I have no idea. My son is like asking, Mom, will we have a Christmas tree? We're on the road and really no time for Christmas tree or anything. He said, Mom, but I really want a Christmas tree. So I don't know. We will see, you know, what we'll be able to do. But I feel that I have to do something for Mark, you know, at least symbolic. So it will be modest, it will be simple, it will be with the family, and that's all it matters, you know. And it will be with the hope and prayer that the good will prevail and the bad will end, and that we will get victory soon, and all Ukrainians will be able to return home and feel safe and proud. But you know, I'll be greeting this new year and this Christmas knowing that I can look people in the eyes without ever feeling ashamed, without ever feeling that I didn't do something, you know. So that is important, you know, because I have certain values in my life that I do not betray, you know, and I hope that other people will support that, and I hope that other channels will pick up the news and pick up our story and showcase it and really make the difference for these kids for Christmas and for New Year. But the Christmas will be with a prayer for hope, love, peace, and healing.
This is like the perfect end of the interview. Thank you, Christina. Thank you. We admire you. We admire us, Ukraine, and thoughts and prayers, but not only. Yeah, we will do some exact steps towards this miracle, yeah, to make impossible possible.
That's true. We shall prevail.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Good night. Well, good day to you, good night to us, and we will try to sleep in sleeping bags because it's getting colder and colder. All right. Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you.